Hey y'all. So I'm going to do some updates as always to the backlog plan for the year. I've had a lot of life changes, just the flow of the overall summer, how things have been going. I did recently beat a game, so I need to take that off of the list. And yeah, I'm not going to waffle about here. I'm just going to get right into it. Um, so going for the top down, Goemon's still on there. I think I had this still to finish by the end of the year, all dependent upon getting together with a friend of mine. So hopefully we are able to arrange that and actually have some proper gaming sessions this year. 4 Years of Light, I put a little bit more time into, but I haven't touched it in probably about a week and a half, so I do need to do another session. I think I had this finishing, well, I've got it in July now, so I'm going to leave it there. Rad Racer is there as well. I changed the setup. Obviously, if you've seen any of the other videos, you know I'm in a different room from where I was before. And where the systems were, where the old school CRT is that I was playing on is in a different room as well. So I can't have quite as many consoles connected up as I used to. I could have up to three, but I can pretty much only have like one at a time there. But that's fine. I don't mind switching out the cords and everything. I know some people that's a big bother for them, but honestly not for me. I think that's kind of part of the experience. So Rad Racer is still there. I think I just need to have a really good session with it. Probably put some time in. I think I'll be able to knock that one off. Elder Scrolls has sat probably untouched for. I mean, both of these have sat untouched for probably getting close to like 3 weeks or so. So I'm hoping I can finish Four Heroes of Light within the next like couple weeks or so, and then kind of go a little bit more full tilt back into this. Um, but the plan was for this month that it was going to be a travel month, and unfortunately, due to some pet illness, that didn't end up happening. So my wife and I actually ended up playing It Takes Two, which was a lot of fun. Definitely narrative-wise and character-wise, maybe not like top level, but I still really enjoyed the game itself. Just the creativity of the levels. I put a little mini review on my backloggery, which I always kind of go over to here as well. And I started updating. There's a couple of games that I've been like not updating, even though I've been kind of putting on. So we've been playing Mario Party as a family, me, my wife, and my daughter. Not quite every night, but pretty close to it, and having a lot of fun. I don't count it because I'm probably not going to do like a single player playthrough for like the overall backlog numbers, but still a lot of fun. And Astrobot did an update, and I just this morning beat the Megamix Mastery to get the final Astrobot. No spoilers about what it was, but it was cool. It was a really fun challenge. So popping back here, this means I can go ahead and take It Takes Two off the list here. So it's no longer an A active game. That's what this column here is for. I'll maybe go through some brief descriptions of some of the columns as I kind of go through. I'm going to add another game here in a moment. I'm going to need to make some adjustments, but let me quick go over to the overall collection. And I think I have It Takes Two. I'm going to have to find it here. There it is. So I can now strike this from the overall collection. That is done. So now we should be at, count is 3, it should be 387 minus the header here. Make sure that matches, I think 387 in the active backlog. So I always double check, make sure those numbers match, and they do. So all good there. And then I need to go over to the beat game section and go ahead and quickly add it in here. So It Takes Two. It is a PS. Well, actually, played it on PS5, but it is a PS4 game. Was originally released on. At least that's a copy that I have. And we beat this last night, which is 7/13/25. So, yeah, almost been like a couple months, or getting close to it. 7 weeks or so since my last beat game. Had a pretty good or decent little May there with honestly some quite short games, so that's kind of how I packed it. But I've been taking a break. I've been trying to read a little bit more, catch up on some comic books, manga, get back into a few movies, and I always circle back to games eventually. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Overall, for the course of this year, this is 12 games beaten. So It's going to be tough to match, unless I have a really another month or two coming up where I beat like 2 to 3 games at a clip. I'll probably hit 20 plus. I don't know if I'll hit the target of 30 or so, but let's go to the overall backlog plan and see what's realistic at this point. So I think I could probably still keep July as a month to beat for Heroes of Light and Rad Racer, but there is no chance I can beat Morrowind in this month. There is a trip coming up that I am taking, so I'm going to have 1 week where I am on a trip, but I don't know if that's a trip I'm going to want to bring any games to play on. I think typically I would, but it's a lot of family time, a lot of hanging out, at the beach, stuff like that. So I actually probably won't. So I'm going to bump this for sure to August as a target end time. I was targeting that I was going to do Breath of the Wild, but I am now not going to do that because my wife has begged me to start Death Stranding 2. And she didn't have to twist my arm very much. I'm a huge fan of the first game. I bought the second one pretty much right when it came out. So that brings me to, I did add a couple games since the last video I've done. So just looking here on the backlog history, you could see kind of mid-June, ended up picking up Ape Escape. This is a game my daughter had been asking for forever because there's the Ape Escape section in Astrobot, and she was just a really big fan of that moment, and so was always curious about like where did this come from, the origin of it, and so we picked that up. And then I wanted to get Death Stranding 2, but I had a little store credit. That's where it came from. I got rid of a few games, so I think I did make a video about that, or I talked about that in my last video, so I did sell some. If I didn't and I skipped it, I'm not sure, but I'm happy to talk about that maybe in a future video, since I don't typically do that very often. But I did sell about like 10 to 12 games or so. So I cut down on the backlog numbers overall, just games that I'm just, at this point, pretty confident or, happy to say I'm not going to beat these. And with the credit, I also picked up Mega Man 11 and then got Death Stranding 2. So, to that end, all right, I'm going to need to adjust some things. So, I'll just look at July and August. I'll leave the November plans as is, I think. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. But I think I am going to take a handheld game away. I think right off the bat here, I'm going to say, I'm going to take Gravity Rush off. My intention was that I was going to go this Pokemon game in Spanish, Pokemon Edición Azul. I was going to play it to kind of help with my own Spanish levels and play a game in full in Spanish. And then I would kind of, while on the road, I'd play a couple little Game Boy games and end with a Vita game. And I just don't, obviously, since my travel didn't happen in that way, I just don't think that's really going to happen. So I'm going to take Gravity Rush off for now. I really wanted to tackle Breath of the Wild this year, but if I'm doing Death Stranding, well, let me do this. So let me put this in. I'm going to go ahead and list it as active because I'm going to start it pretty much effective tonight. So I think I had this targeted as like 60 to 80 hours. I put over 100 on the first one, and it's always possible I'll do the same in this one. But I have been hearing it's a little easier, which I've been a little surprised to hear, and what I call it 3D action exploration. Okay, so all right, so I think starting this month and finishing this next month is likely. So I will leave that there. And Breath of the Wild, and this is not going to happen. Yeah, it pains me to do this as well, but I think I'm going to take off Pokemon Edición Azul. I'm going to leave baseball and Dragon Warrior on. I think playing a couple short games after Death Stranding, Final Fantasy, Morrowind, probably be welcomed. And Dragon Warrior 3 is not a slouch in terms of how long it is. Baseball is probably going to be a very quick one. I could easily see me kind of getting through that within a few playthroughs over the course of a week or whatever. So the big one is what am I gonna do with Breath of the Wild? The thing is, I really don't want to take it off. And the way my end of the year plan works here, I think my best bet is, like, obviously I'm not going to start it this month. So I'm going to target August, but I'm going to give myself some time to beat it. I'm wondering if I would take as long as, like, because some games that take me multiple months and I just kind of like pick my way through it. And I wonder if it's that type of game. I'm gonna do something unusual. I'm gonna put this finishing in November, and the reason is because I'm not sure how much in August I'll get through to start. It'll probably be based off of these other games that I've got here, like Man 9, a couple Castlevania games leading into October. It'll probably be like a pick up and get through a little chunk here or there. And then in October, I really want to focus on some of the spookier games. And then maybe in November, I could see that I kind of focus back to it because I've got a couple games that are not quite as long. I don't know. I'm at this point, I'm really reticent to take it off. So I want to at least leave it there. So let me see how this all shakes out. So Rad Racer, Elder Scrolls, and Death Stranding 2 are active. Oh, where did Goemon go? Oh, Goemon's all the way down. Oh, I know why. Okay, so that's fine. Oh no, wait, this all got messed up. Hold on. I think I need to do it in this order. This way, and then that should do it. Okay. And then I've got one starting in August and ending in November. So, all right, I think that'll work. We shall see. Think I'm going to leave that as is for now. This would put, not counting Goemon just because I'm not sure, this would be another 18 games before the end of the year. I mean, that would still be 30. I don't know if that's doable. That's possible. But I'll leave that for now. So, yeah. Another little insight into how I kind of plan out for the year for games on the backlog. And hopefully this is a plan that can stick with. But as you've probably seen from the prior videos, I'm always up for switching it around because life throws curveballs. And, if you want to beat your collection kind of along the way as a hobby or your personal passion, it's you got to work through those curveballs. So another example of trying to do so here. So I'm going to leave that as is for now. If you watched all the way through, just wanted to thank you for doing so. And we'll see you next time. Take care.